If it's not Hokkaido, then it's going to be Honshu.
Yes, indeed.
And then I thought, moustached. Oh, no, it's not Hulk Hogan, is it?
Thanks for your company as always. Look forward to seeing you next time on the Chase Australia.
Tonight, no new freedom for WA as the Premier is forced to delay our move into Phase 5.
As a nation, we have entered the most dangerous phase of this pandemic.
A new cash lifeline for workers and businesses hit hard by COVID.
Bashed with a crowbar for her mobile, how a grandmother's hair bun saved her from serious injury.
Grief turns to anger on the streets of Beirut as people demand to know who's to blame for the blast disaster.
The AFL chief confirms WA's interest in the grand final.
And the reigning premiers apologise over bizarre change room behaviour.
Live from Perth, 7 News with Susannah Carr and Ardon.
Good evening and welcome to 7 News. The Premier has delayed the next easing of COVID restrictions in our state because of Victoria's worsening coronavirus crisis. All restrictions except for the hard border were supposed to disappear. The Phase 5 setback came as the Premier declared WA is at war with billionaire Clive Palmer.
The disaster in Victoria is now directly impacting our lives here in the West. The state government delaying the move to Stage 5 restrictions until the end of the month.
As a nation, we have entered the most dangerous phase of this pandemic.
Crowds at major venues will remain capped at half capacity and the 2 square metre rule will stay until at least August 29. Interstate truck drivers are also in for tougher scrutiny. On arrival at the WA border, they'll now need to show proof of a negative COVID test done within the last 7 days. Or they'll be directed to get one within 48 hours. But they'll be allowed to continue driving while they wait for results.
But we can't stop freight. We need to eat.
An extra layer of protection delivered as the Premier declares,
We're in a war with Clive Palmer.
a war the federal government is making hard to win. Despite pulling out of the billionaire's legal challenge to the state's hard border, the Commonwealth is refusing to withdraw its evidence and back Mark McGowan's call for a fresh trial.
The only way out, I think, is for Mr Palmer not to proceed with the case.
Federal power broker Matthias Cormann denies his government withdrew from the case due to its deep unpopularity, saying it joined Palmer's challenge before the Victorian outbreak. And things have changed.
In a rapidly evolving, difficult situation, you're going to have to adjust your judgments, and we are big enough to do that.
The Nurses Union has written to all 28 of WA's federal politicians demanding to know their stance on the state's hard border and threatening to actively campaign against them at the next election if they don't support it.
And should any federal member of parliament decide that they don't have that position, then if we have anything to do with it, they won't be a federal member of parliament in 2 years' time.
Rob Scott, 7 News.
A Perth dentist is facing the prospect of jail time and hefty fines after treating patients when she should have been in self-isolation. Natalia Nan has pleaded guilty to 7 breaches of new coronavirus legislation after she returned home to WA from the East Coast.
No smiles at this dentist's appointment with the law.
Did you even think about any of your patients you'd be treating?
Natalia Nan, guilty by her own admission of breaking self-isolation to treat patients.
Do you owe your patients an apology?
It began when she returned from the East Coast on June 16. Police made visits to ensure she was self-isolating at her tapping home. She wasn't. Police charged her with failing to comply with a direction under the Emergency Management Act. Today, she was hit with a further 6 breaches. She's now facing 7 charges.
When she should have been self-isolating, she was instead treating patients here at Discount Dental without telling her bosses. They sacked her the moment the breach came to light, but now no work is the least of Natalia's problems.
Failing to stay in her own house could land her in the big house. Perth father Jonathan David made headlines in April after leaving hotel quarantine to visit his girlfriend in Armidale multiple times. He was fined $3,000 and spent 4 weeks behind bars.
Unfortunately, what you are seeing with some people who breach these types of requirements, they don't seem to understand the seriousness of what they're actually doing.
Nan is now facing a maximum penalty of $50,000 or 12 months behind bars. a fate that could be decided at her next court date in October.
The courts have shown they will treat these matters extremely seriously and they are prepared to impose jail time.
A dentist doubling as a powerlifter, now facing the full weight of the law. Ben Downey, 7 News.
Millions of Australians have been thrown another lifeline by the Morrison government. The JobKeeper wage subsidy has been extended to take into account the harsh lockdowns in Victoria. As the Prime Minister issues a warning to world leaders, if they develop a vaccine, it must be widely shared.
The light at the end of the tunnel has dimmed.
We are in these, again, very dark times.
And the road out has hit a Victorian roadblock.
I look forward to standing behind this podium again and hopefully not the too distant future where we can plan out another roadmap out.
To help clear that road, easing access to JobKeeper beyond September. Businesses will no longer have to show 30% losses in 2 consecutive quarters, June and September, now just the September quarter, and just the December quarter to qualify for the first 3 months of next year. However, workers employed after July 1 won't qualify. 4 million people are expected to be covered, 1.5 million of them in Victoria.
The JobKeeper program will now cost $101 billion.
That's an extra $15 billion.
A tweak to JobKeeper is not a plan for jobs. It's a plan that's desperately needed.
Speaking hopefully about a vaccine, Scott Morrison said any country that developed one and didn't share it would be judged harshly by history.
Australia, we pledge that if we find the vaccine, we'll share it. I think every country's leaders should say that.
The acting chief medical officer says nothing's certain, but
in terms of vaccines, I think, as the PM has said, there is really strong optimism here.
And rediscovering the road out might rely on it. Mark Riley, 7 News.
Victorian officials admit the state's cases are still worryingly high, today recording 11 deaths and 450 new infections. Many of those are healthcare workers, feeling the strain of this recent surge and now speaking out.
Carers at Goonawarra Nursing Home, scene of Melbourne's latest COVID outbreak. They are obviously essential workers, which allows them out, but their numbers are dwindling.
The stresses and strains on staffing, it's not insignificant. That especially applies in aged care. In our hospital system, nurses are more represented in these healthcare worker numbers.
Dan Collins is one of them. You can hear it in his breathing.
And so I want to really share my experience.
As a nurse at the Alfred Hospital, Dan has seen the worst of this.
And then his family called and they had to say their goodbyes over the phone, and it was one of the most heartbreaking things, that his family couldn't spend it with him. And then I held his hand until he passed away.
And then he contracted the virus himself.
It does affect young people, and yeah, it's an awful virus, really.
In 24 hours, Victoria recorded 11 deaths and another 450 cases. Police issued 196 fines, the most since lockdown began. 43 for curfew breaches, 51 for not wearing a mask. Police and soldiers patrol Melbourne's empty streets to ensure the rules are followed, and mostly they are. Earlier this week, 1 in 4 COVID carriers was found breaching quarantine.
Out of 1,150 visits that were conducted yesterday, the biggest day ever, we only had 150 of those people who didn't answer the door.
There was good news today for stressed Year 12 students for end-of-school exams.
Every single VCE student will be individually assessed, and any adverse impacts from COVID-19 will be reflected in their ATAR ranking.
I think this is a massive, massive win for our Year 12s.
And now a nervous wait for the rest of the state to see how effective this lockdown will be.
We do expect within 14 days of a really significant intervention that we'll see a change in numbers.
Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
There are huge lines to get into Queensland, stretching up to 6 kilometres long. Thousands are rushing across from New South Wales before the border between the two states shuts at 1 a.m.
Only people who live in those border communities, so Tweed and those local government areas that are adjacent to the border, are able to cross the border freely.
Almost half of Australia's population will be banned from entering the Sunshine State when the new rule comes into effect.
A High Wycombe grandmother is tonight bruised and battered after being beaten with a crowbar. The vicious attack unfolded when Natasha Waratini confronted two women who stole her mobile phone. Doctors say her choice of hairstyle saved her life. Cassidy Mosconi has this exclusive report.
Still shaken and barely standing. Even the smallest of movements are now an excruciating effort for Natasha Waratini.
My head in 4 places, my neck, my shoulders, my arm, and all down this side, yeah.
The High Wycombe grandmother was bashed and left lying on the road in a brutal attack. It happened yesterday afternoon when the 46-year-old finished work. Before going home, she stopped at Shell in High Wycombe. She took her keys out of her car but didn't lock it. While she was inside the service station, two women made their move, ransacking her car and stealing her phone. Natasha saw the whole thing unfold on security cameras. She ran outside and decided to follow the brazen thieves in her car to the intersection of Abernathy and Kalamunda roads. When she confronted the duo at the traffic lights, they got out with a metal crowbar and a wheel clamp, bashing her until she lost her vision.
Felt like someone had just hit you with a car.
Doctors here say Natasha is incredibly lucky she walked away from this without any bleeding on the brain. They say her hairstyle may have just saved her life, the bun on the back of her head cushioning the most brutal blows.
Someone was looking after me.
Police today examined Natasha's car, searching for clues or fingerprints that could lead them to the wanted women.
Cassidy Mosconi joins us live now. Cass, have the two women been tracked down?
The thieves are tonight still on the run, Rick. Police are assuring me, though, it won't be for long. This terrifying ordeal happened at a busy intersection in the middle of the day in front of dozens of motorists. Officers are now calling on anyone who may have witnessed the bashing or has dashcam vision to come forward. Right now, Natasha is at home recovering. She's still shaken and traumatised from this shocking attack. She's just urging all drivers to lock their doors so they don't become the next victim. Sue.
Cassidy, thank you. Police have arrested a man for allegedly trying to film up a girl's skirt in a Perth shopping centre. Crime reporter Joey Catanzaro is in Armidale. Joey, he tried to disguise what he was doing.
Apparently so, Sue. Police say the 62-year-old man dropped an empty shopping bag on the floor behind the 15-year-old girl, deliberately kicking it between her legs. He then allegedly used the action of picking the bag up to disguise what he was really doing, filming up her skirt using a mobile phone. Luckily, the girl's mother realised what was happening and alerted security guards here at the centre on Orchard Avenue. They called police, who charged the Brookdale man with indecently recording a child. This is every parent's worst nightmare, and detectives are concerned this may not be the man's first offence. If your child has suffered a similar ordeal, police want to hear from you. Rick.
Thanks, Joey. Grief is giving way to rising anger on the streets of Beirut tonight. The army has started tear-gassing protesters who are demanding accountability after the devastating blast that's left 157 people dead.
In this devastated city, the military is on the streets, but it's a people's army doing much of the work. In a pocket of Beirut, usually packed with bustling bars and cafes, they're cleaning up. Ma Mikhail is considered the stylish art of Beirut's party street.
I don't know if we're going to function again. I don't know what will happen. No electricity, the garbage crisis.
The first of the funerals has been held. There will be many more to come. So much grief. So much damage from a blast that will be felt for decades. Today, a rising tide of anger too. The Justice Minister copped abuse and flying bottles. There is fury at government incompetence that seemingly led to the accident. That's brought Lebanese people back into the streets to protest, demanding accountability. This was outside the French embassy.
People are asking the French and European governments to help Lebanon.
A small group turned on the Parliament building before the Lebanese army reportedly fired tear gas. Earlier in this sea of people, the French president The crowd chanted for revolution. The president listened as this student pleaded directly for help. France was once the colonial power here. Emmanuel Macron is offering assistance directly to civilians.
People are very nervous against their politicians. So at the same time, we build this emergency aid. We need a new political initiative.
Ordering the Lebanese ruling elites, notoriously and endemically corrupt, to reform before the government gets cash. Help from Italy and Russia has arrived. There are few thoughts of rebuilding, though. The main aim now, simply surviving. Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.
Just 6 days after a woman was crushed by a humpback off Exmouth, it's happened again. Anna Hay joins us live from the newsroom. And Anna, did it happen in the same place?
So incredibly it did, except this time several swimmers were injured. It's understood it happened during a snorkelling trip at Ningaloo. It was less than a week ago a woman was left with internal injuries after being crushed by a whale there, as we showed you in these pictures. A Perth woman was flown to Royal Perth Hospital last night with minor injuries, but she's expected to leave hospital tonight. Now, this freak reef accident was with a different tour company. Rick.
Thanks, Anna. A forklift was in need of a lift after it somehow tipped over in Mindarie this morning. Traffic was diverted away from Long Beach Promenade after the vehicle began leaking potentially hazardous fuel onto the footpath. Luckily, the driver wasn't seriously injured.
A skyscraper promising to change the shape of Perth's skyline is tonight one step closer to reality. Brookfield's proposal for a 58-storey structure has been forwarded for approval to Treasurer and Lands Minister Ben Wyatt. The building would sit in the centre of Elizabeth Quay and be the tallest in the city. Cabinet ministers have previously praised the project for the jobs and investment it would generate.
AFL CEO Gil McLachlan has confirmed WA has made it clear we want the grand final. While Premier Mark McGowan hasn't been involved in the documentation, a submission from a number of government parties has been made to stage the entire final series at Optus Stadium.
For 133 seasons, Victoria has been home of the grand final. But its COVID crisis means the blockbuster will almost certainly need to be moved. AFL boss Gillon McLachlan confirmed today WA is in the running.
If we're unable to play it here or that changes, then clearly we've got a lot of great alternatives. And Western Australia has, I think, made it clear that they're keen.
The AFL received a submission from WA to host the entire final series, including the grand final. But Mark McGowan is clear this isn't his baby.
I haven't put in a submission.
In fact, the Premier wasn't aware of the submission until yesterday.
I understand there's been discussions. I understand some, Venues Live or someone might have put together some document, or Venues West.
Government Department Venues West owns and manages Optus Stadium. Tourism WA, the police and Chief Health Officer have been in ongoing consultation regarding logistics, financial commitments and quarantine requirements for a WA finals hub.
It's exciting for the state, for our fans to possibly have finals and to host a grand final. I think it's awesome. If there was a finals hub here, look out, I think would be pretty tough to beat.
Queensland remains the favourite to host AFL finals, and while our Premier isn't yet throwing his weight behind WA's submission, he does believe when it comes to the grand final, West is best.
Our view on the grand final is this. It's not a priority. It's not our focus. If it can't be held in Melbourne, well then clearly Optus Stadium is the best ground in Australia, and Western Australia is a football state.
Ryan Daniels, 7 News.
The reigning AFL premiers have apologised over questions surrounding post-match celebrations. Richmond players are accused of groping each other during the team song, which legal experts say is no longer just a case of locker room hijinks.
Richmond's culture is widely seen as key to their recent success, but post-match vision from recent games has brought that culture into question.
To belt it out again after the...
Dual premiership star Nick Vlaston touches Marbior Chol several times despite his younger teammates' playful objections. It then continues as the Tigers celebrate Tuesday's win over the Lions. Coach Damien Hardwick put on the spot at his weekly media conference.
Are you aware of what appears to be an indecent assault against one of your players by another one of your players in the rooms? Do you have any knowledge of these things?
No, mate.
Do you expect them to be playing at your next game?
We might call it quits. Thanks, guys.
What appears an inside joke, Richmond Vice-Captain Jack Riewoldt also engages with Jayden Short in the same manner. Chol was also the recipient in last week's win over the Bulldogs. Mabior Chol is one of the most popular members of the Richmond playing group. 7 News understands he doesn't wish to take the matter any further, but legal experts say because it happened in a workplace setting, other players or staff could take action if they felt uncomfortable.
It's a bad look, I've got to say, because it's quite immature and a bit silly. But from the point of view of whether it's criminal, maybe not.
Andrew McCormack, 7 News.
Amelia Breen joins us now with an early look at the weather.
And Millie, these cool mornings just keep coming, don't they?
They sure do, Sue. It wasn't quite as cold as yesterday morning, but still fresh. 7 was our overnight low, although it did feel a couple of degrees cooler than that, and it was a brisk day, just 16. A cloud band and a cold front are set to collide over the weekend, and we're in for a wet change. Isolated rainfall of up to 80 millimetres are possible for parts of WA on Sunday. Today, some very chilly maximums across our city. It was just 13 in Armidale and Kalamunda, 16 in Yanchep and 16 in Mandurah too. We have one more dry day before a big change sweeps through the southwest of our state. Think rain, gusty winds and even dust storms. I'll tell you more about what we can expect after Sport with Barra.
Thanks, Millie. There's a new name in the race to become Perth's Lord Mayor. Find out who next.
Plus, could a new podcast finally blow open one of Australia's most mysterious cold cases?
Also, why Donald Trump has upset thousands of American teenagers.
Disappearing act to moped rider's unlucky double.
How a heated marriage proposal went up in smoke, but did she say yes?
And coming up in sport at 6:45, will Eagles stars Liam Ryan and Jeremy McGovern be fit to tackle the Blues? And meet the mum of the AFL rising star who's become an internet sensation.
Probably shouldn't have admitted that, but anyway, it's out there now, so it is what it is.
Plus, how safe are our seniors? Shock new findings about aged care. That's ahead.
It is The Farmer Wants a Wife, a country ball.
Love is in the air.
Want to fall in love and live happily ever after.
But one farmer is about to have his heart broken.
She just betrayed me. I definitely liked her. I thought she was a great girl, but a bit emotional. Hey. Probably best to not come back to the farm.
New Farmer Wants a Wife, Sunday on 7.
So, your T-Cross, does it come in orange?
Don't think so.
It comes in orange. The new T-Cross. You'll just want one. Volkswagen.
The Nick Scali winter clearance is on now. Save up to 30% on a great range of selected items, floor stock and discontinued lines. The Nick Scali winter clearance on now.
Pay less every day at The Good Guys. Get free delivery on selected deluxe cookers, like this Amiga Cooker 1648. And bonus finish and Scalex on selected dishwashers, like this Bosch dishwasher 153 off. Only at The Good Guys.
This is not a normal adventure race. Mountains, jungles, ocean, and it is brutal.
We actually want to get out there and suffer and feel alive.
It blows my mind. It's so inspirational.
Oh, I just went and got some milk.
Hey, wait a sec. Let's try new white choc flavour.
Just like a white choc milkshake, only crunchy.
Introducing Skechers Go Walk Smart. It all starts with our Smart Flex design. Ultra Go cushioning, air-cooled Goga Mat insoles, and impact-reducing comfort pillars that soften every step. They're also machine washable. That's Skechers Go Walk Smart.
The Nick Scali winter clearance is on now. Save up to 30% on a great range of selected items, floor stock and discontinued lines. The Nick Scali winter clearance on now.
Take the
Another candidate has put their hand up to be Perth's new Lord Mayor. Sandy Angie is an architect, lawyer, accountant and small business owner. Issues she plans to address include establishing an identity and point of difference for the city, as well as restoring trust in the council.
What we really need now is a Lord Mayor and a council that will address the reform that's required and move forward in a positive way so that the City of Perth can earn the trust of the community once again.
She joins a lineup of 5 others planning to stand in the October elections.
A new podcast by a top investigative reporter has renewed hope of solving one of Australia's most intriguing cold cases. 31-year-old store manager Janine Vaughan disappeared almost 19 years ago. Her family is still desperate for answers.
Returning to Bathurst is as difficult as it is infuriating for these siblings.
I hate that I come to this town and people still don't know who Janine Vaughan is.
Janine was their sister, last seen leaving a nightclub in December 2001. Despite an inquest, major investigations and a $1 million reward, neither Janine's remains nor her killer have been found.
It's been 19 years and it's been 19 years too long. We need to be able to find out what has happened to her.
The case has now been taken up by the Australian newspaper's Hedley Thomas in a new podcast, The Night Driver.
Somebody must know something.
Thomas, whose Teacher's Pet podcast was a massive hit, believes Janine's abductor was a local.
They have held on to this very tightly and remained, I believe, in the community.
He hopes to jar memories or prick a guilty conscience.
I don't know where we're going to end up. It's a real whodunit and it's so intriguing.
Who that mystery driver was on that rainy December night has tormented Janine's family for almost 2 decades. They're adamant she would never have accepted a lift from a stranger.
100% knew who she was getting in that car with.
They believe someone in Bathurst knows what happened.
Come forward, let it go. No, there's a bigger picture than hiding a secret.
Not afraid of the truth, just living without knowing.
Please come forward.
In Bathurst, Ashley Hansen, 7 News.
President Donald Trump has banned Chinese-owned social media app TikTok using national emergency powers to declare it a security threat. In an executive order signed today, any transaction with parent company ByteDance will be banned in 45 days unless it sells the app. The US says it collects vast swathes of user data which could be accessed by the Chinese Communist Party. Microsoft is in talks to buy TikTok, which has 1 billion global subscribers, including Australians. America has also banned a Chinese money transfer app called WeChat.
This has left everyone asking, what are the chances? A moped rider hit by a car rolls straight into a gutter and down a drain head first. She was trapped down there as Good Samaritans raced in to help. One managed to jump down to rescue her. But take a look in the background. While the crowd is focused, the driver sneaks back to his car and slowly makes an escape. We're told the woman is fine with just a few scratches after what's now being jokingly described as human billiards.
He'd spent hours crafting the perfect proposal, complete with candles spelling out "Marry me." But the plan went literally up in flames when his burning message burnt down his apartment. The Englishman had set the scene, then left to get his girlfriend, leaving the candles behind. But you have to work with what you've got, so he proposed in the ruins instead. They'll be married exactly 1 year from the day their love ignited.
Up next, a boost for boaties will show you a multi-million-dollar upgrade.
Plus, charges dropped. The Perth priest accused of stealing, claiming victory against police.
How this new luxury seaside spot is going to help Perth's heartbroken families.
Shots fired. Is America's powerful gun lobby about to be dismantled?
And would you deliberately catch COVID if it led to a cure? That's next.
Get hooked, get hitched, get out there. Outdoor Explorer in the Sunday Times is your weekly guide to a life of adventure. Caravanning, camping, boating, fishing, four-wheel driving. Whether it's on the water or off the beaten track, Outdoor Explorer will get you there. Only in the Sunday Times.
This is the World Cup.
of cooking.
Welcome to Plate of Origin.
We're all Australians, all from different backgrounds.
This is what great sport is all about, but it's transferred to food.
I really want to do my country proud.
OMG. I'm having that recipe, please.
There's always something to learn about food.
I've never had one of those. Absolutely delicious.
Sometimes everybody needs a...
Food you already love, and loads of new food you're gonna fall in love with.
Plate of Origin.
This is it, Ray, the company Barbie. Jane will give you that promotion if you give her this perfectly cooked steak.
Don't be too quick on the draw, mate.
You've got this, Ray. Use your barbecues galore skills.
I'm ready.
Now get over there, hombre, and become the Deputy Vice Assistant Regional Manager you were born to be!
I'm vegan.
Oh, it's okay, Ray. More epic steak for you. Legend! Barbecues galore. Now you're cooking.
During the Nick Scali winter clearance, the Rafina 2.5-seater with shaves was $19.90, now $12.90 in a great range of colours. The Nick Scali winter clearance on now.
You know that he's been in better form and that this horse is ready to go one better. That's why you deserve a better bet with Tab Touch. This Saturday, get boosted odds on races 1 to 3 at Rosehill and Flemington. Better your bet with Tab Touch. Gamble responsibly.
Have you seen my keys, though?
Oh, you left them. Ah, toast and teeth. Come on.
Put your belt on.
Fancy boots.
There's always time for a smooth and delicious McCafe coffee. Made by our baristas just the way you like it.
Hey, Dad, did you see my goal?
I sure did. Coffee whenever you need it most. McCafe, we're coffee people.
There are 2 ways to make a mattress. The cheap way, 1-piece, single-sided with attached pillow top made out of foam. Yes, Mr. Harvey, they should be 50% off. The best way, 2-piece, double-sided, removable pillow top with thousands of microcoils and a 5-year comfort promise. Sorry, Mr. Harvey, we make them, you don't.
The Bellissimo mattress, made like no other mattress. Making mattresses, nobody makes a better mattress. Nobody.
When you have a sore throat, everything you eat feels a whole lot worse than it really is.
But it doesn't have to. Treat it with Betadine ready-to-use sore throat gargle. It kills the bacteria that may cause a sore throat within 30 seconds, and use the Betadine lozenges range to relieve the symptoms. Get back to living life with Betadine. Now available for the best price at Chemist Warehouse.
Subiaco priest Father Joe Walsh says he plans to return to active ministry now charges over an alleged theft have been dropped. Father Walsh was accused of stealing nearly $500,000 from the Catholic Church in 2018. Prosecutors told the District Court today there's no reasonable prospect of a conviction.
It has been a very stressful time for him, and it's taken a terrible toll on his health.
Archbishop of Perth Tim Costello confirmed the church is continuing its civil case against him.
A prime piece of Perth oceanfront real estate that's been empty for years is being transformed into a sanctuary for special families. The Swanbourne spot will become a place for sick children to spend their final days.
Jack Mooney has been in and out of hospital since he was 2 years old. He suffers from a rare disorder which will cut his life far too short.
To be told there's no hope and you can't help your child and you can't find anyone who can, it's just the most devastating news you can get as a parent.
Jack is one of 2,000 children in WA with a terminal illness. Today, the state government announced the state's first children's hospice, a $10 million home for sick kids and their families to spend their final days together.
It's going to be very, very homely and on the inside. You're going to smell fresh bread and home-baked cooking.
Negotiations with the City of Nedlands are already underway to secure this seaside location in Swanbourne. It used to be the old bowling club but has been vacant for years. If it does get the green light, sick children and their families will get ocean views and easy access to the beach.
If you're someone who wants to slow us down or stand in our way, please beware. We are motivated to ensure that these children in need have this building open.
It's due to be finished in early 2022. Anna Hay, 7 News.
The state government has committed $7 million to improve water access in Carnarvon. Boats have been stuck in a bay named the Facine for 3 years since a cyclone destroyed the channel.
Some short-term improvements for boat owners in Carnarvon, but doing the work, finalising the studies, getting environmental approvals for the long-term fix.
Locals say a long-term solution is essential for tourism within the next 12 months.
Guns and God were the main talking points on the latest day of the US campaign trail. Donald Trump has blasted his left-wing opponent after a move to dismantle one of the Republicans' biggest donors, the National Rifle Association.
Touching down in the battleground state of Ohio. Donald Trump sharpening his attack on political rival Joe Biden.
He's not all there.
Over the roaring engines of Air Force One, a rally of sorts, questioning his opponent's faith.
No religion, no anything. Hurt the Bible, hurt God. He's against God, he's against guns.
A campaign upended by coronavirus and another close call for the president.
I just said I look forward to seeing the governor. They said, sir, he just tested positive.
So that was a big surprise.
Their meet and greet on the sidelines of a factory tour scrapped. From Ohio, the president heads back east for a weekend of golfing and a fundraising blitz. As it emerged, one of his biggest donors, America's powerful gun lobby, could be dismantled. The National Rifle Association spent $30 million on Trump's campaign in 2016.
To stop a bad guy with a gun, it takes a good guy with a gun.
Today, its top brass faced allegations of fraud and misconduct.
We are seeking an order to dissolve the NRA in its entirety.
The group dismissing the move as political point scoring, launching a countersuit.
I think the NRA should move to Texas and lead a very good and beautiful life.
In the United States, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Oxford University researchers want to take on a radical world first to inject, then infect people with coronavirus in the race for a vaccine. They say the controversial challenge trial is rare but necessary and may hold the key to stopping the pandemic.
Conquering coronavirus with coronavirus. Oxford University researchers are in their own battle to have the challenge trial approved.
We can do a challenge trial with 40 people and get a very informative result on whether a vaccine is working.
In previous stages of COVID vaccine trials, participants were broken into two groups. One given a placebo or a harmless drug, the other an experimental vaccine. Both are then told to live normally. In a challenge trial, all volunteers are given the vaccine, then all infected with coronavirus by inhalation. It stimulates natural contagion.
There's a great amount of pushback from the research community saying that this is too soon.
Normally, a challenge trial is used for diseases which already have a known cure. COVID-19 is new territory. Volunteers must be aged in their 20s and 30s and be healthy.
The potential benefit is very, very large.
There's plenty of interest from potential participants. Up to 30,000 people have already put their hands up.
A lot of people feel very passionately that the tiny risk is worth it for the benefit of developing a vaccine. Yes, I'm confident it will be approved.
In London, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
And still to come, see how a rocket lit up the midnight sky.
Plus, scare from below. A jet skier's close encounter with an underwater giant.
Why a Perth pest stole a fly screen.
The health kick helping middle-aged men shed the kilos. See the results.
And coming up in sport at 6:45, how do the Dockers fit 5 players into 3 spots? And a Swans star gets punished for staging for a free kick.
The dinner that's legendary.
Incredibly tender.
Fast Ed's lamb shanks that melt in your mouth. New Better Homes, next up on 7.
I love a sunburnt country.
A land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons. I love her jewelled sea, her beauty and her terror, the wide brown land for me.
The Art of Living sale is on now. For a limited time, save on the best in Australian indoor and outdoor design. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King Furniture? Sale on now.
Unpolished beauty. It defines our country, our products, our people. And at Stratco, we're proud of it. Because these calloused hands show our expertise is earned. From decades of custom crafting, roofing and cladding solutions for remarkable Australian homes. Colorbond Steel's stunning matte finish. Brought to life by Stratco. You bring the dream, Stratco will bring the how-to.
A warm home is a safe home. Illusion gas lock fires once in a lifetime massive stock inventory reduction sale. We must sell the lot. Over $10 million of Australian-made heaters must be cleared this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 147 Belmont Avenue, Belmont.
New Special K lower sugar. Rise with us. Rise with protein for muscle. With less than 4 grams of sugar. Set goals, then kick them. Try New Special K lower sugar.
At Harvey Norman, receive 15% back in Harvey Norman gift cards when you purchase a selected Australian-made Sealy Posturepedic mattress or ensemble. That's right, 15% back in Harvey Norman gift cards. Sealy Posturepedic is proudly Australian-made and owned, featuring the latest technology and innovation for the ultimate support. Upgrade your sleep with a new Australian-made Sealy Posturepedic mattress or ensemble from our selected range and receive 15% back in Harvey Norman gift cards. Harvey Norman, supporting local and Australian-made manufacturers. Offer ends Monday.
Go! You know that he's been in better form and that this horse is ready to go one better. That's why you deserve a better bet with Tab Touch. This Saturday, get boosted odds on races 1 to 3 at Rosehill and Flemington. Better your bet with Tab Touch. Gamble responsibly.
COVID new rules. Are they working? The lockdowns, travel, schooling, shopping, lifestyle. The most comprehensive coverage. Weekend Sunrise at 7 a.m. Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Checking the Australian share market now, and the ASX 200 closed down 37 points to finish the week. Resources stocks sagged. Shares in Flight Centre were up, ending the day among the market's strongest performers. Gold is trading at $2,059 an ounce, while iron ore is up to $118 a tonne. One Australian dollar is buying 72.1 US cents and just over 55 British pence.
A thief in Ellenbrook has been filmed using a bizarre tactic to avoid leaving behind evidence. Security cameras caught the man minutes after he allegedly broke into an Ellenbrook home and stole a handbag. Under his arm is the fly screen of the window he allegedly broke in through. It's believed the pest may have taken the fly screen to avoid leaving fingerprints at the scene.
A fisherman has had a spectacular and slightly terrifying encounter with a humpback whale on the Gold Coast. He was fishing with a friend yesterday when the giant appeared beneath their jet skis.
Holy you should see him right next to me. Oh!
The whale stayed with the pair for several minutes, gliding just beneath the craft before continuing on its northern migration.
Some Perth blokes have found new life after losing stacks of weight with help from the Dockers and West Coast Eagles. The pilot program was such a success, it's expected it'll be able to help hundreds of overweight WA men.
It was Frank Loughlin's lifetime love of the Eagles that finally inspired him to kick the kilos.
I was just at a stage where I was hadn't taken care of myself. Funnily enough, on my Twitter feed at the time came up a thing from the West Coast Eagles that said overweight men, here's a program to get involved in, and I clicked away and started up.
This is Frank today, 30 kilograms lighter and in the best shape of his life.
I would have described myself as overweight, and I'm now basically what I was when I finished high school, if that makes sense. I'm just back to, I call it original Frank.
Frank took part in a program called Aussie Fit, designed to get AFL fanatics into shape. 130 overweight men aged between 35 and 65 took part and were trained by the same coaches as their AFL stars.
Essentially, we're able to use the appeal of the AFL club as a hook, if you like, to get the guys on board. And then really the program, although it was AFL themed throughout, it was really about health behaviour change.
The formula is simple. It only takes one session a week, 90 minutes each, for 3 months, helping Aussie blokes to kick their weight loss goals with a footy in hand. Anna Hay, 7 News.
Can't go wrong with the footy. SpaceX has lit up the sky over Florida as its Falcon 9 rocket launched just after midnight there. It's carrying 57 satellites for its Starlink constellation, which will eventually provide satellite internet access. The COVID crisis has exposed major flaws in the way we care for our elderly. Now Australians are moving out of nursing homes. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News.
But first, Barra's back with more sport and, unfortunately, some injury news from the West Coast Eagles. Barra.
Yes, Sue, and it involves 2 of their absolute finest players. It could be good news, though. Plus, could it be season over for Ben Simmons and Flying Ryan? Will the Eagles' excitement machine take to the air against Carlton? And should Jeremy McGovern risk his fractured thumb when it buckets down on Sunday? And golf's first major of the year. Jason Day leads with Big Bad Bryson snapping drivers in half at the PGA.
The top of the table Bulldogs take on the reigning premiers, the Lions. Subiaco, South Fremantle, Saturday at 3 on 7.
Outside, it's something to look at. But inside, it's a space to be. A space we fit our lives into. A space that brings us closer. That spans generations. Where we go to let go. In a Mazda, this space is 100 years in the making. And summed up in 2 words. Zum zum.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, they're still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums. Oral-B, brush like a pro.
On now at Comfort Style. For this week only, get 20% off absolutely all furniture and bedding. In-store and online now. Yes, 20% off everything. Sale ends this weekend. Coburn, Malaga, Mandurah and Osborne Park.
Welcome to Business Space, home base for business. Hi, I'm Peter McLennan. Everything a business needs to know. Office furniture fit-outs, cafe and restaurant furniture, shop fittings and fit-outs, shelving, racking, storage, business machines and business advisory services.
Make your house feel like home with Beacon's Makeover Sale. Get 30% off your second item when you mix and match from our entire range of lights and fans. That's a saving of 30% on your second item. Sale ends next Sunday.
We're for the bingers, the laptop peekers, the episode sneakers, the binge all-nighters, those brave sleep fighters. With friends or your family, or when everyone's gone, to all of you bingers! Binge on.
Sadler's Home. Priscilla chair now $299. Velvet cushion from $20. Chateau 3-seater now $599. Glassware priced to clear. Lewis table $299. House is not a home without Sadler's Home.
Check out what we've whipped up. Power Play is now available on Sportsbet's AFL Same Game Multi. Just hit the button and watch your odds get bigger. Power Play your AFL Same Game Multi with Sportsbet.
They're the footy conversations everyone wants to be a part of. And only 7 News gets you a seat. at the table. Inside AFL with footy's biggest names, because nobody knows football like 7.
This Sport Report is brought to you by Sportsbet's Elite Average Games.
West Coast star Liam Ryan will have a final fitness test tomorrow morning at the Eagles' captain's run, but is expected to play against Carlton on Sunday at Optus Stadium. Heavy rain is forecast for the match. On Wednesday night, Liam Ryan had an MRI on a tight hamstring, but has been passed fit to play against Carlton, though Sunday's forecast is for 55 millimetres of rain. The weather may cause West Coast to play it safe with Jeremy McGovern's fractured thumb. Fremantle have a selection dilemma with Jesse Hogan, Sam Sturt, Blake Acres, Stephen Hill and James Aish all good to go. But it would be a big call to make major changes to a team that was so impressive against Collingwood last Sunday. And after the Perth mother of Pies debutant Trey Rusco became an internet sensation for this reaction.
Oh, Trey, that is so good. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know, it's good.
The whole team fall over or something, did they?
Today she revealed she missed seeing her son's first AFL goal.
He kicks his first.
She said she was out the back of her house having a durry.
Probably shouldn't have admitted that. But anyway, it's out there now, so it is what it is.
Fiona Rusco also revealed her son has plenty of other cool celebrations.
So they got this little handshake that they do, and Trey's got little handshakes with all the boys at the club. He gets on really well with them. Great bunch of guys. Love them all.
And the AFL says footy boots with metal studs are illegal after Collingwood's Isaac Quaynor copped a 20-centimetre gash to his leg last night after attempting to tackle Sydney's Sam Wicks.
His studs sort of raked across his shin and actually split his shin, 6-8 inches, completely open.
Meanwhile, Swan star Tom Papley's been fined $500 for staging after his opponent dubbed this the flop of the year. To golf now, and just a week after splitting with his coach, Aussie Jason Day has a share of the lead after the first round of the PGA Championships in California. Adam Scott is the next best Australian, while Tiger Woods is also 3 shots off the pace.
It's rare air for Day. He hasn't won since 2018, has slipped outside the world top 40, has just parted ways with his lifelong coach, and his last bogey-free round at a major was 3 years ago.
And good it was, as Jason Day would put it close, make that birdie.
He was without blemish today.
Pretty sound the whole way round. I had a lot of good quality iron shots coming into the greens.
Not so the beefed-up Bryson DeChambeau, who hits it so hard, damage is inevitable.
Oh, my goodness. He's without a driver. He snapped it.
He's 3 back. Brooks Koepka, who's chasing 3 PGAs on end, is 1 behind. Tiger's craving his 16th major. 68 was his best start to a Grand Slam since 2012. Same score as Canadian Adam Hadwin, although he was 2 under after his opening hole.
Oh, how about that?
They revelled early. In the late afternoon gloom, Brendan Todd shone. A year ago, the American was world number 795.
What a clutch putt, just inside of 10 feet.
Adam Scott was also outstanding, given he's had no tournament play since COVID intervened in March. It was a red-letter day for Aussie golf. Jason Scrivener and the Wonder Kid, Minwoo Lee, are just 1 back at the English Championship. Both shot first-round 64s. Pat Welch, 7 News.
West Australian boy. And the NBA season for Aussie Ben Simmons could be over on the eve of the playoffs after scans revealed the Philadelphia star partially dislocated his knee in the 9-point win over Washington yesterday. Simmons is now set for an indefinite period on the sidelines with only 5 games left in the regular season. Unlucky for him. Rick and Sue, it's the grand final rematch on 7 tomorrow from 2 p.m. Waffle rematch. Subiaco and South Fremantle, so that's great from Leederville Oval. And we've got the Eagles and the Blues from 1 p.m. on Sunday when it's belting down. 55 millimetres.
Lucky them.
Thanks, Barra. Confidence in aged care homes has plummeted, with families wanting their loved ones removed from a facility.
A national survey found most are blaming operators and are calling on the federal government to step in to keep older Australians safe.
If we can judge a society by how it treats its elderly, ours is currently failing. 73-year-old Marilyn Mayer wants to avoid aged care.
I love staying in my own home.
A national survey into aged care found 54% of people with a relative or friend in aged care homes want them moved out. 1 in 4 people say their loved one's mental health has declined during the lockdown. 60% of people planning to move a relative into aged care in the next 5 years will either delay or avoid it altogether. And 26% believe the federal government is not doing enough to ensure aged care providers meet their obligations.
They shouldn't take their eye off aged care.
The expected surge in families choosing home care has raised concerns about how they will provide the space, support and therapy needed. And next week, the Royal Commission into Aged Care will hear from the relatives of people who died in Newmarch House and Dorothy Henderson Lodge as they examine the industry's preparedness, or lack of it, to tackle the pandemic. Many stakeholders say deregulation put aged care in Australia in a perilous state. The virus may be the knockout blow.
I feel safe. I've had no contact with anybody that's even had the virus.
Brian Seymour, 7 News.
Amelia Brune's got your weather next. And Millie, we've got an intense weather system heading our way.
You can say that again, Sue. Parts of our state could get more than 100 millimetres of rain over the next few days. Dust storms and gusty winds are also on the cards, and it'll be cold. I'll tell you what you need to know after the break.
This is the night that decides who will make the final.
We are going to ask you to perform again.
America's Got Talent, Tuesday on 7.
The footy fill-up continues. 20 days in a row of different same-game multis put together by our traders, and they cover different things like tackles and hit-outs. And in tonight's game so far, Devon Smith to kick 1 or more goals and to have 12 or more disposals. So if you're on him tonight, good luck, but that is it. So every day on the Sports Bettor, a new one comes up. It is the footy fill-up. Good luck and gamble responsibly.
Jump into the Freedom Sofa event for up to 25% off selected leather and fabric sofas. And right now, get 50 months interest-free store-wide. No one knows sofas like Freedom.
Professional, affordable and reliable. That's the Rich Tech promise for all your plumbing and electrical needs. Hot water systems, block drains, burst pipes. We're there within the hour. $0 call-out fee. Rich Tech, where service meets quality.
Let's get Rich Tech.
Get Vegged. Super tasty vegetarian meal solutions for everyone to enjoy. Packed full of flavour, loaded with veggies and free from artificial colours, flavours and preservatives. Get healthy, get vegged.
Emotions shape you and make you unique, just like your face. Discover new Nivea Q10 Power for mature skin with organic argan oil to deeply nourish and replenish your skin, and 100% skin identical Q10 to visibly reduce wrinkles or your money back. New Nivea Q10 Power for mature skin, 100% skin identical, 100% you.
There were things that I did for Kath that sisters don't generally do for each other. Knowing that there were support systems out there would have been fantastic.
Caring can impact your emotional and physical resilience. Ensure you get the support you deserve.
On now at Comfort Style. For this week only, get 20% off absolutely all furniture and bedding. In store and online now. Yes, 20% off everything. Sale ends this weekend. Coburn, Malaga, Mandurah and Osborne Park.
Happy birthday!
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Help take care of your family with Medibank Life Insurance. Apply for cover up to $2.5 million, depending on age and income.
You see my keys, though?
Where you left them? Ah, toast and teeth, come on.
Put your belt on.
Fancy boots?
There's always time for a smooth and delicious McCafe coffee, made by our baristas just the way you like it.
Hey, Dad, did you see my goal?
I sure did. Coffee whenever you need it most. McCafe, we're coffee people.
I'm about to take you on a journey so magical you'll never want to leave.
A garden so unique your imagination will be running wild, and the transformation proving size doesn't matter.
We've only got a small area, but I'll show you how to make a huge impact.
New, better homes. Next up on 7.
Amelia Bruns back now with your forecast. Amelia, winter blast is on the horizon.
It sure is, Rick. Some very heavy rainfall, gusty winds and cold days are ahead. Today, though, another fresh start. 7 was our overnight low and it was just 16 this afternoon. Right now it is 13 and winds are light. Taking a look around the suburbs, it was chilly in some spots. Kalamunda and Armidale reached just 13 today. It was 16 in Jandakot, the same for Yanchep and for Mandurah too. So as a high moves east, a pretty dramatic weather system is moving in. A cloud band and a cold front are set to collide, and as a result, everywhere between Coral Bay and Walpole is in for a drenching, and some spots could get 80 millimetres of rain on Sunday. Dust storms are also possible. Around the country tomorrow, a shower or two for Adelaide, just 13 there. Cloudy in Hobart, rain for Canberra, and showers for Melbourne and Sydney too. Windy in Exmouth tomorrow, mostly sunny in Kalgoorlie, a possible late shower in Geraldton and a few clouds around in Margaret River. There is a strong wind warning on local waters tomorrow. Gusty northeasterlies will reach 30 knots, seas to 2.5 metres, swell to 1.5. So no rain for our Saturday, but it will be windy in our southern suburbs. Sunny and 21 for Morley and Scarborough, 20 in Rockingham and 19 for Mandurah. But come Sunday, it's not looking great for the Eagles match. The city could get 55 millimetres of rain, possibly more. It'll be really windy and there is the chance of a storm, 19 the top. It is not looking much better for the Dockers on Monday. Another 35 millimetres of rain is possible, along with more storms, just 17. The rain should ease on Tuesday. It'll be cold on Wednesday, just 16, and it's clearing up for Thursday and Friday. Before I go, congratulations to Des and Betty Leggett from Victoria Park, who are celebrating their 66th wedding anniversary. Have a great weekend. Here are Rick and Sue.
Thanks, Millie, and that's 7 News for this Friday, August the 7th. We'll be back later with updates.
And for the latest stories, head to our website, 7news.com.au. Enjoy your evening and your weekend here on 7.